Hey, Jack.
Yo,
Okay. I'm not all here yet. I'm composing myself.
well, just put it together.
But I now have like five or six brains.
You have what?
I've been doing brain creating. So I've been creating brains on various different topics.
For reasons I can't explain, I'm not hearing you.
Is it the audible issue or is it what I'm
It's
saying?
echoing a lot. I mean, it's like you're off in a distance.
Oh, geez. Okay, let me make sure my microphone is set correctly. All right, let me check my microphone. What are my audio settings here?
But now
Testing,
you're
testing,
clear.
testing, 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 testing.
You're a lot better now.
Okay. All right. Well, remember last week I was saying, hey, I rediscovered the brain and I'm getting busy with it and
Yes.
did a little bit
Yes.
of, well, I have now, let's see, how many brains do I have? I have one called health, where I'm actually tracking, what I do and how it's killing me. I have one called history, which covers a lot of different archaeology topics. I have one called My New Life, which is where I'm going to go once I leave the US. I have one that was resurrected that I showed last week called Collaborology. And then the one I also showed last week called Decline of Empire. And I created another one on tech, which is how I get current on things like AI, ML, big data, closure, architecture, software engineering. So I'm finding a nice way to compartmentalize the interests, and I'm probably not done. But I'm finding that the previous impedance I had with getting things into the brain is much less. Either I have shifted and I've discovered how to use it, or this is actually true. They do have some new features that are actually pretty nice. And so I thought that was something that you are one of the few people who would actually understand that. So I just thought I'd
Well, I
mention it.
do. I've spent time with the brain myself and spent a lot of time rooting around in Jerry's brain and in the weather brain, the climate brain.
So have you created any, or do you still mostly just
No,
seeing?
I actually installed it recently. I mean, it's a couple of years ago, but I find I'm not motivated to use it. And the reason is that the brain is technically a mind map.
Yep.
And by using screen layout, you can have implications of what's subclass, superclass, and what's side by side related.
Hmm.
And Jerry does that,
Yep.
and so that's an improvement. It gets closer to a concept map, except you don't get to label the arcs.
Right.
Um, there's a lot to like about it, but it just doesn't thrill me.
So I'm with you on that. There's two items that I think it really needs, or that hopefully you will build for me. Uh, I do agree with you about arc labeling or link labeling or association labeling, And then the second is to be able to lay things out arbitrarily. The mind has a very fixed way of laying things out. and you must use its way of, well, no, it's got three different ways. It has outlines as well. So you don't have to look at it in this, 2D semi mind map way. There is an outline mode, and I think there's actually one other, oh, a card like mode. But, if I want outline, I'm going to go to workflowy. I don't need the brain to do outlining. Anyway, those are a couple of thoughts of mine while you speak. Sorry, I interrupted you, but you just was trying to emphasize the point you were making. Over.
Yeah, well, I spent actually tons more time on debate graph.
Mhm.
Debate graph came out after the brain.
Mhm.
Um, I did use the brain. I was living in uh, somewhere in Mountain View, something like that. Um, when I downloaded the brain, the desktop version, and started bringing in my Word docs and PDFs and wiring them up and so forth. And then I kind of got bored with it, and then I met David Price, and he introduced me to debate graph, and I just went gonzo with debate graph.
So I
I
also
have
tried.
I have
Yeah, go ahead.
I have a shitload of graphs on debate graph.
So are they not active? Do you not revisit them as much
No,
anymore?
I migrated away from debate graphs when I wanted to focus. So I was using debate graph to develop the Open Sherlock project.
Mhm.
But as the Open Sherlock project got started and Yuzuru invited me to Tokyo to talk about it, it kind of took center stage.
I also tried debate graph, and what I remember is I liked the power. I really did. I didn't like how slow it was. So I couldn't do things in think speed. I always had to be really, really slow in debate graph. Has that changed? Has that sped up?
I don't. It it could be that I'm a slow thinker, and so I was never bothered by its speed. Um, that was never for me an issue. Um, I
Interesting.
I what I really liked was that I could um, transclude from somebody else's graph into mine. But I did that once to somebody who objected severely, and David wrote to me and said, "You shouldn't have done that," and so he removed the transclusion. But
Because of IP issues or
no,
what?
I forget what her name was, but she had a monstrous graph on pattern languages, huge.
Oh yeah, I remember the
And,
person. Yes, I forget the name, but I do remember the person.
yeah, and I wanted to bring some of that into my graph, and she just, even though she and I had email conversations and we were friendly, she didn't want her graph touched.
That's odd.
Well, everybody's got their own worldview, and uh, One man's signal is another man's noise.
So wait. So why was her pattern languages thing in debate graph if not to be reused, re-referenced, consulted, referenced, dot,
I
dot, dot.
can't, I cannot answer that. I'm going to go there. She's French, if I recall right.
Yeah, and I remember it used to be PLAST, I think is associated with her. Blast of some kind.
If I'm going to log in and I'm going to search pattern language.
She'll pop right up. I think she's definitely known for that.
Whoops. Uh, well, it decided to go for machine learning methods and algorithms. I do not know why it didn't go straight to her. That's weird. Uh, let's go to exact phrase. Helene Finidori.
Yes. Yes.
Pattern language and system thinking.
Yes. I've never actually spoken with her in real life.
I've corresponded with her on several occasions. I don't recall the reason. I'm going to leave that now. Um, I I don't actually. Let's go and Google her again. New window. PhD candidate, University of Hull. Isn't that where Frodo went?
I don't think so. University of Hull is where Jerry, somebody else in San Francisco, how was his name? He was also part of the Next Now. Maybe not Jerry, but that name of the school was very memorable in my mind because I'd never heard of it before him. But Frodo was, I think, College University in London, I thought.
Oh, maybe that's it. Helene Finidori in a PhD to investigate the role of patterns and pattern literacy in support of systems literacy, systemic, interpretive, and transdisciplinary communication. She's somebody we should be hanging with.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I connected with her probably a decade ago, but I've never actually been in conversation or in a group where she has appeared.
I would go to her SlideShare, but I hate what they've done to it.
It's been years since I remember SlideShare. Last I
Oh,
heard,
well,
it was what, part of LinkedIn, or is it not?
no, it got sold maybe to LinkedIn, and then it went to somebody else, and now it's in uh, the worst the worst kind of advertising game.
So
You
you're
can't
looking at
go
it.
two you can't go two slides without them popping an ad.
Ah, wonderful. Don't you just
And
love capitalism?
even though somebody marks it public for download, you still have to log in to download.
Yeah.
It's that's real. Helene Finidori's main area of focus is connecting dots and building bridges between people, cultures, disciplines, organizations, and transitionary stages.
Wow, that's quite ambitious.
Uh, so there's another Helene Finidori. I don't know if it's the same one. Oh, it is. Uh, Senior research fellow at the Schumacher Institute. Whoa. Until recently, she taught management and leadership of change at the Barcelona Center of the International Program of Staffordshire University. Her main area of research are social change and systemic perspectives, with a focus on the development of tools and approaches for transformative action, and in particular, those connecting dots and building bridges between. Oh, God damn it! This is somebody we should be talking to.
Yes. I would like to invite her to one of these conversations.
I think that that's totally appropriate. Let me just randomly explore if I still have her. Helene Finidori at Gmail. Um, I'm going to ping her and CC you.
Excellent. By the way, is it spring already?
Uh,
I think it's the
it may
21st.
be. Yeah, except in California, it's blew past it.
Yeah, it's a late summer, right? Was it what,
It's
94 or
already get.
96?
Yeah, we went well over 100.
Jack, you'll be
Um,
happy to know it's 41 here right now at this moment. Um, the version of the brain that I'm using does not have a feature that I found in one of their demo videos. One of their demo videos says if you're on a topic that you know nothing about, you can click this AI brain
Oh,
feature
Jesus, no. That's
and it
wrong.
attempts to build out an outline of the topic for you.
And that sucks.
Well, as a starting point, I don't actually mind that if I don't know anything about it.
Well, I don't want to go into something in a graph that I don't know anything about until I've opened some books and technical papers.
You and I are different in that respect. I'm very willing to reorganize as I learn things, but having someone start with a tour of a topic, to me, I don't mind that. I'm starting a new node called Helen Finidori,
Yeah, good.
and I'm putting pattern languages underneath it manually, not via AI, because I don't have that version. I am still curious though why transclusion is an issue for her. So that might be an interesting note.
Well, it may be that I did not actually transclude, but I actually forged a link, and she did not want a link into her graph. I'm beginning to think that's what I did.
Oh,
I
because
thought
the
I was
mate graph
transcluding.
is bidirectional then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right. See, that's one of the things that the web did that allowed it to explode is you could link to things and the destination thing didn't have to know that you linked to it. Interesting that I can actually think and add notes in the brain pretty easily, at least at the pace we're going. And I've also been discovering shortcuts. Like you don't have to create, links one by one. You can actually do it multiple at a time. And they've also improved the drag and drop. I can drop a URL right onto the Plex, and it just links to whatever's in focus at the time. And you can do that with multiple links and multiple attachments. Oh, let's see how long my experiment with the brain lasts this time. As I mentioned, this is either the third or fourth time I've tried to use the brain. What else has happened to you in the last week, Jack?
Um, Went to the flower garden and ended up using my walker. It was just too hot.
Using your walker.
Yes, I have a walker.
Okay. Hey, Kayla.
Hey, hey. I invited somebody to come on, but I don't know if they're going to come on because I think, has to be somewhere at 9. But I told him that, well, my sister hopefully is telling him that Jack leaves at 9. So,
Yes.
but yeah, he is,
What is this? Hopefully, Jack leaves at 9.
no. Oh, did I say hopefully? Oh
No,
my
you
God,
said
I'm so
hopefully
sorry.
your sister told him that Jack leaves at
Yes,
9.
yes,
It
thank
wasn't that
you.
she was hopeful that you would leave at 9, Jack. And if you'll
She's
review
trying
the
to get rid of
recording,
me already.
uh, well, maybe, but it didn't come across in what you said. Okay.
Yeah.
No, 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 no. So you wanted this person to be introduced to Jack, you said?
No, I just saying he's leaving at 9. So he is going somewhere, I guess, and he has to be there by 9. He's starting work or something. And I told him just come on because Jack leaves at 9. So
Yeah.
um so just come on,
Yeah.
don't worry about leaving at 9. So now my sister is asking what we're talking about right now.
We're talking about brains and we're talking about the fella himself.
Okay, we are talking about brains and about him, even though I don't know him.
And we're talking about debate graph versus the brain, and we're talking about outlines, and we're talking about knowledge management, and whether or not we create knowledge nodes, or whether we know something before we create a node. So what do we do? What is? Yes, we did that for about the first 20 minutes, approximately.
Okay.
So, where we were is that Sam was all enthused that the brain will haul off and build a graph for you, and with AI, and I am totally unenthused with that, because where do you don't, everybody knows when you're raising a child that the child, when the child discovers something new all by itself, it owns it. And so the trick of being a good parent is to set up conditions where the child can discover shit. And um, so when you have an AI sitting there coaching you, saying, "Hey, this is what you know, this is what you don't know," blah blah blah, you don't own it.
I'll take a reasonable lapse of conversation to indicate that to me, I don't mind a little tour guide through a topic I know nothing about. Once I understand it, I'm more than willing to reorganize whatever was presented to me and, cut off certain nodes or embellish on certain others. And I find that, just having a way to get started to me
Tour guide is
might be
what you do
interesting.
when you're out on a boat in a harbor, or in a bus going through a different country you've never been to. Tour guides for personal knowledge, no. I don't We're not on the same page.
Ah, that's rich areas for conversation then.
Yes, of course it is. I mean, we don't have to agree on anything, but
Yep.
that's my point, and I'm sticking to it.
Well, I have my point, and I don't care whether I stick to it or not. I'm more than willing to adapt new, but I'll tell you where I currently am thinking, because all teachers essentially are tour guides through knowledge.
Actually, um, some think that they are instructors pounding shit into your skull.
Right, right, right. That's a level one teaching. Okay, yeah, we all understand that.
Yeah. The best
This was,
the
yeah.
best tour guide teachers I ever had were the ones that told stories and folded into those stories the shit that they wanted you to learn.
Hmm.
And it was up to you to follow the narrative and pick them out.
Hmm.
But by picking them out, you made the discovery.
Hmm. Hmm. So, by the way, the
That's a
reason
re-
I'm,
that's a
go ahead.
really ugly brain.
Brains are ugly, dude.
Well, they generally look like whale blubber, but that one is particularly ugly.
Yeah, their brains are not attractive.
No, no, you wouldn't go out on a date with them.
Yeah. Much like the entire, if you think about like the human body, if you take it apart, it's not very attractive, especially the functions that we use all the time, except for maybe the eyes. Eyes are beautiful. But then if you take that apart too, that it just is very unattractive. But the whole of a human is attractive.
Well,
At least to humans. I don't know. My
a,
dog might
a,
think I'm very ugly.
attraction to me has more to do with things beyond body shape,
Yes,
body
energy.
appearance.
Yes, I would agree. Energy too.
Yep. But just don't forget that God went and put the disposal system down at the same place as the recreation area,
Yes, which also is very unattractive.
which is it's weird. But there are times when you just sort of say fuck it and you go for it.
As ugly as it is.
Wait, wait, wait. That could have been taken a couple of ways. Bada bing, bada boom. How do we get out to this topic from brains so quickly?
Well, it's body parts. As
Uh,
the chicken commercial said, parts is parts.
Speaking of which, uh, quick question: cremation or burial?
I prefer cremation.
Me too. But my dad was buried because that's what my mom wanted.
Well, that's what they want. Yeah.
What did your dad want?
I don't think he gave a shit. Whatever my mom wanted.
Well, that's old school. That's okay.
Totally. I don't care. I mean, I figure when I die, I'll be dead, so it doesn't matter.
Pretty much.
So whatever. You want to put me, I like for me, I would say don't like just burn my body up. Like there's no need to have it decaying in a coffin if it even does decay fully in a coffin and take up space. Just, you know, throw my ashes in the woods or something
Well,
or
I learned this week that the average cremation costs about $4,500, and the average burial costs between 14,000 and 18,000.
Yep, that's the
Of
big
course, those are
difference.
rough numbers.
yeah.
which if you didn't take care of it ahead of time, somebody was trying to sell me. Then, of course, whoever's left alive after you're dead has to deal with it.
That's right.
Did you guys also know that the land appreciates?
Where you're buried.
Yeah. So I discovered this because my parents, several years ago, they told us that they bought their own plot of land, and took care of their own burial just in case anything happens, then we don't have to worry about it. And so after we had a really good laugh, we ended up like not thinking about it until, of course, my dad passed. And then when my dad passed, we had to go through everything. It took 3 hours. I am not kidding you, from start to finish to talk about you know, um, he'd talk about everything, in spite of the fact that, like, my dad took care of everything. But one of the things that was very shocking was that because he had bought the plot of land a couple of years ago, it appreciated. And so they're just like, oh, now it costs this much, and you have this much in credit that you could use in flowers, blah, blah, blah. You know, um, I don't remember if we had the option of like just getting the money back. I don't remember that, but I do remember that we had extra money because the land was worth um more than it was a couple of years ago. I just found that to be quite fascinating.
Wait, I still don't understand. Were you trying to sell back the land or were you just trying to extract equity from the land?
I guess just equity from the land, since we are putting him in there, and then it's resolute. Stop it. No, you're not going in the front yard. My dog is trying to get my attention, and I'm pretty sure it's because he wants to go in the front. Okay, I'll feed you. Come on. But yeah, anyways.
That's a whole derivative product I hadn't even thought of before.
How you can't use it? It belongs to somebody.
I know, right? But oh,
What would you
I
call
have to
that?
wrap my head
It,
around that.
it's not a HELOC. Is it a B-lock? A C-lock?
Stop it.
It makes no sense. I mean, sure, the land everywhere goes up in value, but I mean, you can't buy it and put a condo on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was very strange. I just thought it was really, really, really strange. Or, you know what? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was this. It's like the land, they bought the land for this much, right? And like, no, 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 no. Never mind.
Well,
All I
you've
know
painted
is
yourself in a
we got money from that. That's all I remember. And it was bizarre.
Oh, wait. You said your dad was cremated, right?
Nope. He was
Oh, he was
buried.
buried.
I want to be cremated.
well, maybe
That's
they've gone and resold his plot to somebody else and then buried him right next to him.
or divided it in two.
That
Well,
happens.
my mom bought a plot right next to him, so that's saved.
Did they buy an extra plot for you and your sister and your brother?
I'm sorry?
Did they also buy three more plots nearby for you and your sister and your brother?
They're not gonna take care of us like that.
Oh,
I think that's where they stop. I mean, I would be the same way. I would never want to buy my kids' plots ever. I
I
even told
have,
my kids I need to buy my own plot. And they freaked out. They're like, ah,
where would you put it?
I don't know. I said that to freak them out. Because I'm a good mom.
You know, every time I go back to Taiwan, and this is spanning my entire life, so it's probably what, 5 or 6 visits now. My family makes a point to visit my grandfather's burial site, which has a tomb, which has a big marble slab, which has some engraved carvings on it. But it's on this approximately, I don't know, 20 foot by 30 foot area where he reserved uh, burial locations for each of his kids. He had 11 kids and potentially many of their kids as well. So my oldest uncle is there. He died at 1. My oldest aunt is there. She died at 16. And I think they had to move at least one or two of them. Uh, and my grandmother is married. Oh, no, no, sorry. My grandfather is on his own, but then my grandmother and my uncle and aunt and yeah, so my grandfather's off on his own, but there is a nearby location which is about 20 foot by 30 foot approximately, where he reserved burial locations for all of his kids. Anyway,
Wow.
that was something that he did. And again, that's assuming that those kids will actually agree to that, but at least there's a place there that they don't have to buy themselves if they want to use it. I thought that was interesting.
That is.
You do know that Steve Jobs is buried in an unmarked grave.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I know. I know. I have been to the graveyard
Do you have the GPS
because
coordinates?
I it's basically across the street from Gun High School, just down the road a bit.
So I've been by there many times.
Yep, it's you won't find where he's buried.
But he did not go to Gun High School himself.
No.
So why the reason then? Because he lived up in Woodside. Gun High School is in Palo Alto.
Well, Gun High School has nothing to do with the particular cemetery. It's
Okay.
just a cemetery, and I've been there because my wife's aunts and uncles and everybody else is there. So,
Ah, okay. Okay. So
so
here's
the
a
the Asians have something called All Saints Day, where they go to the cemetery and put flowers and do things. And I noticed in the Philippines they go there and um, they pay somebody to keep the lawn mowed over the graves.
So I never knew it as All Saints Day, but I know there is a day called Tomb Sweeping Day, where you go out and sweep all the rubbish and clutter and dead leaves and plants
Yeah,
off
that would
of
be about the same
tombs.
thing. Yes, in the Philippines, it was called All Saints Day.
And by the way, I also found out that when they come to you and say, "Hey, take care of this so your kids don't have to," it usually only amounts to a percentage of what they have to take care of. The kids are still stuck with, "Oh, well, you like this little upsell to a nicer casket. Would you like this little upsell for a little
Right. Yeah.
nicer urn? Would you like this little upsell for a, I don't know, special song that we play at the memorial, that sort of thing." So it's a nickel and dime business. as I suspect most businesses in this country are. But, you probably get all that in burials as well, not just cremations. But that was something I learned this week. Kayla, how was your week?
Um, it was really good. Let's see. Damien, Mr. Smarty Pants, my oldest son, got into San Diego State. He got into UCSB, UC Irvine, UCSD last night, and
Wow.
then he got into UCLA.
I saw the UCLA announcement. I did a like on that one when I saw it last night.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy only because he really wanted to get into UCLA and it's difficult. I heard it was like a 9% acceptance rate. And UCSD is also very difficult to get into too. I think it was like UCLA is number one, number two is UC Berkeley, and then USC and UCSD is hard to get into, but Smarty Pants got into
Yeah,
it. Into all of them. So he spent $500 of my money to apply to all of these UCs, and he got it all except for Berkeley. We don't know what. But I'm really, really happy that he got into the university that he wanted to get into.
yeah, really good. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank
That is
you.
awesome.
So there's
That,
that. Oh, go ahead, Jack.
who is Smarty Pants?
My son Damien.
Ah, good.
And number one.
Yeah, the accident.
Wait, really? Is that what you tell them?
In a way, sometimes I do, yes.
Well, let me ask a dangerous question then. Actually, no, I'm not going to ask.
Go ahead.
Really? Is that how
Yeah.
you ended up with Kenny?
Well, obviously I was with him before before the accident, but how I ended up marrying him, yeah.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
sorry for being nosy.
Oh no, no, it's important. I started to think about it, okay. Um, do you want me to share my thoughts or you want me to tell you the rest of what happened this week? Because it does relate to teaching, and I wanted to see if you guys were interested in hearing about that too. But
I'm
anyway,
interested in teaching.
I'll go. I'll tell you about that. Um, so Max, he is struggling with honors English, which is really surprising to me because he was really good in English for pretty much most of his academic life, except of course for ninth grade. So, I know Sam, you heard me talk about how organization is kind of one of his downfalls, as is reading comprehension. I think I talked to you both about reading comprehension, and it doesn't, it's kind of not a surprise, especially these days. And so we're getting into his organization skills, and we're trying to tackle it that way. We also got him a tutor, and we're trying to tackle it that way. I also put like a tremendous limitation on his cell phone use, and so I started tackling it that way. So he started reading Romeo and Juliet, the play version, and he had told us that me and his tutor that he had a test um coming up, and so we prepared for it every single day since I think he like knew about 4 days or 5 days in advance. And so we told his tutor, I had him read it. We enrolled him in Spark Notes, which is an application that gives him, just notes on Romeo and Juliet. He read it every day. He took it to the bathroom and read it. We bought an Audible, and it was only for Act One. Okay. So, like, we just threw all this shit on him and made sure that he was like learning it so that he would have a good chance at this test. Because right now his grade is at a D plus, and we want it to be at a C at least before the year ends. So the day of the test, um, I drop him off, tell him good luck. We're listening to the Audible. And then when I pick him up, he goes, I'm pretty sure that I failed the test. And I said, why? What happened? And he said, well, it was all based on quotes. So what the teacher did was the teacher had like did these quotes, right? And gave them multiple choice answers. Okay, so who said this quote? And anyways, he was really, really disheartened. And then I was fucking pissed because, okay, not only did this teacher not give them the actual Act One to take home, like they read it in class, but they didn't take it home. And so, me, I find resources, I go online and I'm like, print it out. I'm like, fuck your teacher. You're gonna read it at home. I don't care. But she didn't tell them what the test was about. She didn't tell them like you might want to study for this or that. And so I want to know what the fucking purpose of that was. Like, because I just, I don't know. To me, as like an adult, I would expect that in college, not in high school for ninth grade. But I could be wrong. I mean, is there that much pressure these days? And why would you not let your kids bring, or at least photocopy it and have them bring it home to read? And why wouldn't you tell them? Who in the right mind would find Elizabeth? Well, I shouldn't say that. I'm sure there's lots of people, but like this is like another language. It's like Elizabethan, you know? I don't know. I was fucking mad. And anyway, he ended up talking to his counselor, and I think we're gonna switch him because fuck this teacher. Right, Rocky? Even Rocky agrees.
Wait, sorry, I think I was confused. You're talking about Maxwell's teacher or Damien's teacher? I think it's now
Maxwell's
Maxwell's
teacher.
teacher.
Oh
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
I'm not
Okay.
talking about
Yeah.
Damien anymore. Damien doesn't have nearly as much trouble in academics as Max does.
Well, um, I can't explain it. I have a rant of my own, but I can understand that you would have an issue with memorizing Elizabethan quotes and trying to figure out how that connects to how Maxwell's going to have a better life in the future.
Yes. What the fuck? I'm sorry, but seriously,
Well, I'm
like,
still trying to
bitch,
figure out.
really?
Yeah,
No, go
well,
ahead.
yeah. My standard example is how the fuck am I going to use the knowledge of the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria? How is that going to affect my life?
Yeah, yeah. So I wrote this email to the teacher. I harnessed my my anger and I was like, I just want to know what type of assessment you're doing. Like, how is this, why is this even important? I just want to know, like, or what are you trying to assess? What are you trying to look at when it comes to my kids learning? Like, what are you trying to figure out or measure them on? Like, what the fuck are you trying to do? Like, it's just in my head. I'm just like, and the sad part is I like English. I love it. I really wanted to love the teacher. I was trying to fangirl. And that's the problem. Like, I guess there's just, I don't know. I don't know, even know if she's a terrible teacher. I mean, what do you think, Jack?
I don't have a particularly strong opinion on this. What happens is you got a teacher there who is the old school just in case epistemology, which is we're going to make these kids memorize all this shit just in case they need it someday, rather than teaching them how to think.
Yeah.
That's the remnants of the factory school process. Line them up in kindergarten and push them out in high school and shove them off to be taxpayers. Um, that's I'm not. I am not personally a victim of that. I mean, I knew that that was what was going on, but I had teachers that let us explore.
Yeah.
And when you got teachers that won't let the kids explore, um, it's time for another school, maybe. I don't know.
I don't mind the school in general. There's just been a few teachers that have been like, I don't know what the point is going that fast. And like, I almost want to just ask the principal, like, why do you have teachers going this fast in,
Yeah, and that's reasonable. Yes, and it may be that uh, going that fast is tailored to some kids who can do it.
you know, well, the good news is the counselor I coached my child into what like he should say to the counselor. I said, just don't talk about the teacher, talk about yourself. Like how frustrated you were, like that you couldn't take the book home, how we had to look up these resources, how you studied, how we hired a tutor, how we like did all these, talk about yourself and that like your confidence now is just like not good, and that he really did, he wanted to be in honors English and he wanted to give it a shot and he wanted to push himself, but like this is just ridiculous. Like this, he had worked really really hard too on a book report that he finished on time and did well in. Like we put so much into this book report and the bitch has not even fucking graded it. What kind of shit is that? But like that is last semester. He could have
I'll give
had
you
a better grade. But go ahead.
you know, what I hear the teacher is optimizing in the multiple choice quote test. I hear
Uh-huh.
the teacher just optimizing for ease of grading. She's trying to make her life easy by just checking multiple choice. Is it A, B, or C? That's an easy way to grade tests.
Yeah.
I agree with you on, questioning the value of memorizing these quotations,
Yeah.
unless there's a theory that says, well, if you understand the dynamics of the plot and the derivation of events, then maybe you would understand who would have said this most likely.
Yeah.
That's the point.
Yeah. But
So
actually, go ahead.
no. You please finish.
It's an odd way to go about it. I never had a teacher that, tested that way over.
And I need that explanation. Like I want to know because I want to support my child. Like, what are you trying to say? Like, do you want him to just understand the like content, or is it the memorization? Like, how deep do you want to go into this? You know, it's like, and what value is understanding this content? To me, when I think beyond it, I'm just like, well, if he wants to be a nerd, like Shakespeare, a nerd, and we're at a place where it's valued um a lot more, then okay, cool. If it's novel, then why would you want a student to go into it that deep? Max just woke up and he's staring at me. Probably hears like the passion in my voice.
Okay, I don't know how relevant it is, but which book?
Oh, I'm sorry. Romeo and Juliet, Act One.
Oh, okay, sorry. Romeo and Juliet. Yeah, so why that one?
Yeah, it's, what's really interesting? As an adult, I actually found it to be kind of interesting reading it again and listening to it again. I'm like, oh my God, they were perverts. And like a part of me is like, this is slightly inappropriate. Do you want me to get into it? Do you want me to tell you that, like, Paris was a pedophile and he was just like, the younger the better, because that's what it translates to. Like, do you want my child to understand how awful people were back in the day? Like,
They're
okay,
still that way.
cool. Yeah, like, all right, girl, tell me what's up. But again, inform us. What are the tools?
Having an adequate why is so important.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes, that's what I teach when fundraising.
So many people, I've seen very many teachers just launch into a what with no connection to why. And especially in mathematics, you can see how students will just say, why the fuck should I learn this? The motivation for the connection is so important in a teaching role, in my view, that you can immediately see when a teacher is just going by habit or going by syllabus or going by, memorization or whatever, without establishing a good why for each individual student.
Right.
I think that's what half the job of teaching is making sure that, the relevance and the motivation is established
Right.
before you get into the what. Otherwise, people are going to say, why do I need to compute fractions by hand? Division, long division by hand.
Max is here. You want
That
to ask him something?
uh, sure.
He's right here. Ask him.
Max, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, how'd you feel when Damien got all those letters this past week or two?
I don't know.
Sit
Did
up
you know what
straight.
letters he got?
Huh?
Do you know what letters he got?
Acceptance letters into college?
Yeah. Now, do you want to go the same place where Damien is, or do you want to go someplace far from Damien?
Mm, I'm not sure. I'm still
That's a good
thinking
answer.
about it.
That's a good answer. And so, what's interesting in school? Are you happy with your English teacher?
No.
Yeah. I got to tell you, when I found out that one of my son's teachers couldn't teach math, I switched him out of the school. But that was just me. I'm not saying that for, Kayla to do that, but I was so disgusted with my son's math teacher that I switched an entire school because of what I saw.
you know,
Eh,
when I was in
That's
high
Jack.
school chemistry, we had a teacher that was the best chemistry teacher I'd ever heard of and experienced, except he couldn't spell. And so there was this one snotty girl whose father was a bigwig in 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 basically the city government who got the guy fired because
Mm,
he couldn't spell.
oh,
Jesus,
come
could he
on.
teach chemistry?
Aw,
He
what a
he even
bit.
ran a chemistry club at his house. Come on over and we'll do experiments that we can't do at school. I mean, there's my kind of teacher.
Yep, absolutely.
Hey, maybe it's a coincidence, but my favorite teacher in high school was also my chemistry teacher. We did 20 labs, And those were some of the funnest times I ever had in high school. Max, do you have a chance to take chemistry in high school, or will you?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna. I'm taking it next year.
Good.
Is it going to involve labs?
Hopefully, probably.
Well, what's chemistry without burning shit up, you know?
Well, I
Max
got to
does
make
that on his
soap.
own.
No,
I
I
got to make
don't.
soap, and I got to make contact explosive, and I got to put the contact explosive on, toilet seats and doorknobs.
That's
I'm not
Max.
suggesting that you do that, Max, but
What
I'm just telling you
in
what I
my
did.
in my class we had a guy that was quietly over in the corner making nitroglycerin, and he had it in the
Uh,
liquid form, and he would sprinkle it on the staircase, because the stairs going up to the chemistry building, and so when you stepped on it, it would go pop, pop, pop.
are you sure it was nitroglycerin and not silver azide based? That's the kind of stuff that I was making.
So he told me it was nitroglycerin. He's the same kid that blew his face off once, filling a seltzer
Oh,
bottle with something or other.
fun times.
Yes.
You know, the chemistry teacher, would like this is one time he broke one of the beakers and it had sulfuric acid in it, and it started to burn at his hands, and he was just laughing as he was rinsing off his hands. You know, can't do
Wow.
that these days. Yeah, there's too many rules and regulations you would break by doing that these days. Anyway, hey
Yeah. What
Max, I've also seen some. Sorry.
I grew up with a Gilbert chemistry set, and there they had sulfur and all kinds of stuff that you could make shit blow up. Today, the chemistry set for kids is plastic beakers, not the glass ones we had, the
Yeah,
Pyrex ones.
Oh.
It's so watered down because kids might hurt themselves.
exactly. Hey Max, have you ever thrown magnesium into water?
No.
No, you have.
Wait, really?
Yeah. No, he's put magnesium in water.
Wait,
He
wait.
just doesn't remember.
What did I do?
It
What did I do?
No, you remember it was
Yeah, wait. I don't remember.
oh, I guess you don't remember. Yeah.
Wait, when was this?
Oh, like several years ago.
Ah,
Nothing happened to you.
but what happened?
It just like fizzled up and
Oh, oh,
It
oh.
depends on how much you throw in.
Yeah, it can be truly explosive.
Yeah.
there you go. You could be a dangerous nerd.
Chemistry is fun, Maxwell. But the point is, the teacher is 80% of your interest. If you have a
That's
bad
it.
teacher, you're going to have a bad experience with that topic. If you have a good teacher, you're going to love that topic. It doesn't matter what it is. One of my best friends from high school, he loved Latin because he loved his Latin teacher. And he's now a lawyer, and he can see how Latin is behind all of those fancy terms in lawyering.
And in medicine and everything else,
That's right.
yes.
That's right. Oh, by the way, we were talking about body parts before. This is before Maxwell joined us. So, if you're talking about how body parts are ugly, except for maybe eyeballs, then imagine being Leonardo da Vinci and cutting up, I don't even know how many bodies he cut up. Imagine being him. Why was he so interested in cutting up bodies? And secondly, how did he get all those bodies to cut up? Who let him do that? And number three, what did he do with all those body parts afterward? And number four, what did the place smell like?
Like Max's room.
Mom,
Whoa, 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 Max, you got dead bodies in there?
no.
I love
All
messing with
right,
my kids.
kids.
Jack,
I
we're
got
just getting into
I'm gonna
some
go.
interesting questions here.
Boo.
I'm gonna go.
I got to run.
Okay, Jack.
All right. Talk to you
Bye,
later,
pal.
Jack. Hopefully see you tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so. Bye bye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Anyway, Sorry to bore you, Maxwell. Is Maxwell gone already?
No, he's here. He's about to leave though.
Okay.
He took
Maxwell,
Jack's departure as a
Maxwell,
as a
here's a
sign.
question.
Hold on, okay? Hold on. He has a question for you.
Okay.
I
Okay.
get it.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you ever wonder why your mom spends so much time on Saturdays and Sundays talking to old, geezers that talk about esoteric topics?
No.
You don't wonder? Is it completely
No.
okay with you?
I'm fine with it.
He
Ah,
just
good.
knows I'm weird.
Yeah.
He's like, who cares? My mom's weird.
Hey, Maxwell, let me confirm for you. Your mother is unusual. I wouldn't say weird, but your mother is unusual.
I'm
Okay?
unique. That's what it's called.
That's right. It's a good thing. You don't want to be a
Unique.
cookie cutter. You don't want to be a cookie cutter mom or a cookie cutter teenager.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
In fact, I wrote like a LinkedIn thing about that. Like, people don't want unique people.
Yeah,
They
because
want
they don't know
people
how to
who are
deal with them.
exactly. But the people who are unique, who are rare, who are
Yeah,
exceptional, those are the ones that
right.
make things happen.
And Maxwell, one more thing, okay? I know
Oh,
you're
hold
probably going
on.
to get bored and leave. No, no, no. Don't pull him back if he's already gone.
Oh, yeah, I have my AirPods on. Why? What were you going to
Oh,
ask him? I want to
I wasn't going to
know.
ask him anything. I was going to give him kudos.
Oh, he's already dancing.
Okay, no problem. I'll save it for the next time he visits.
I also had something to tell you guys, but I forgot. Had to do with like, oh, okay. It just like had to do with the course of somebody's life, you know,
Okay.
because oftentimes I hear that the reason why Damien's really smart is because of his dad. And while I agree that his dad is very academically inclined, I
Mhm.
don't think that all of the intelligence comes.
Are you still there?
He's doing the hard work. You know, he may have the genes, he may have the propensity, but it is also like a combination of lots of things, or maybe a combination of absolutely nothing. Who knows? You know? Um, but it kind of pisses me off too because like I've had to fight for that, that like intelligence. I feel like most of my life, only a few people understand, like yourself, that I do have a brain and I am a systems thinker and I do like to think, it's just, it's really difficult when people ask me stuff like, oh, how is it that you became a development director without any formal education? Or they ask me questions or they're really surprised. And it is just the choices that I made that were unconventional that people just trip out on. And so I'm getting this like, oh wow, yeah, he must take after his dad. I'm like, I don't know how I have to swallow that down whenever I hear that. It's partially true. He does take after his dad in a lot of ways. But when it comes to the intelligence portion of it, I feel like that's like my secret power. So people, like, only a few people know that I actually have like a pretty nice brain.
And it's not ugly.
Exactly. It's not. When you dissect my brain, it's beautiful.
Okay. Make sure that's in your will. Okay.
Take a look at my brain.
Yes. All those beautiful folds and neurons and glia.
Yeah.
It's so much part of the patriarchy we're growing up in.
Oh, the measure of intelligence or what people
Well,
think.
I'll tell
intelligent
you.
people do or come from. Like, I'm sorry, and allow me to rant just a little bit. I did choose dance and travel over,
Hmm.
a stable housing
Hmm.
and, academics and that because I saw tremendous value in it and I still see tremendous value in it. I see
Hmm.
value in it where a lot of people don't. I see that I've gained a lot of different perspectives that are non traditional and you can't really measure them by today's society. And so that's the most frustrating thing. So if you want to talk about having a unique person, if you want to talk about breaking barriers, if you want to talk about like how things need to change, you need to see the people who don't see, who think outside of the box, who live
Yeah.
outside of the box.
Outside of your box, whoever you're
That's
speaking with.
right. They need to
Yes.
talk to me.
Right.
I'm just joking, right?
No,
No, just joking. Like, I
it's
don't,
not just joking. I understand that, okay? Because I'm familiar with how you put things.
yeah.
Can I give you two thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely.
One, when I was growing up, my grandfather was so well respected by the family, by the neighborhood, by other Taiwanese. He was a doctor. He helped, save lives in Tainan. He was a builder of a hospital. He wrote books. He saved lives. So he was just always respected and always held up as, a model Taiwanese. And so all of his sons were kind of expected to live to that reputation, right? So all of his sons, other than my dad, all grew up to be doctors also. And they all tried to be good doctors. And I think they all were trying to fulfill that reputation. My dad was the black sheep, but he had to go off and sort of establish himself as well. And he is arguably one of the smartest people I've ever met. He's written six math books, and he put his entire life into those math books, and he just really values mathematics and logic and teaching and truth and all that sort of thing. He's extreme in that way. My mom, therefore, was never built up in my mind the same way because we didn't live with my mom's side of the family. We lived with my dad's side of the family. So I knew very little about my mom growing up. It wasn't until much later that I found out that she had actually, won 2 years in a row the piano competition in Taiwan, and was on national radio in high school 2 straight years in a row. That she was one of the very first five women allowed into the medical school at National Taiwan University, which is the best university in Taiwan. She never spoke about that. She wasn't there to build herself up. She was there to build up my dad.
Mm.
So I didn't appreciate how much she had accomplished. She was actually at age 40 or somewhere in her early 40s in order to get a job as a doctor in Albuquerque. She had to go into the Air Force. She had to go into officer candidate training. She had to go to Corpus Christi for 6 weeks, carry a 30 or 40 pound pack and go on 5 or 10 mile hikes every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning. My mom was 4 foot 10 and a half on a good day. So she probably weighs, even less than 120 or 130 pounds. But
Yeah.
she did it. She had to learn to shoot. She had to learn all the, protocol of being an officer in the Air Force. So when I would visit her years later in Hawaii and, and Japan, these guys, enlisted guys, 6'3", 6'4", wearing fatigues, would salute her and they would look down on her because they're like 2 feet taller than her, and they would have to salute her. My mom never built herself up. It wasn't until much later that I appreciated how much she pioneered and
Yeah.
accomplished. She took the board exams in the US at least 3 or 4 times before she passed. And it took months and months of study each time. Most people would have given up after one or two failures.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But she kept going. She wasn't going to accept failure. She just kept going until she passed. So I deeply respect each side of my parents.
Mm.
But it was only much, much later that I started to really appreciate how much my mom had done and achieved and was special. Because the system that I grew up in didn't reinforce that.
Yes, yes. Yep. Yeah. When I was young, it wasn't really, you know, anyways, you already know my story. I'm happy that my son recognizes that too, you know. Um, the one of the things as I'm listening to you, I realize I shouldn't have certain things live rent free in my head. But anyways, I digress. One of the things that Damien had told me was like, he goes, "You're a single mom with your own business, and you're a director."
Hmm.
And I forgot why he said that, but the fact that he actually recognized that was just amazing to me. I'm like, oh my
And this
God,
is Damien
son.
you're talking about, right?
Yeah. I'm like,
Yeah.
you see me.
Yes.
Nobody sees me. So, anyways, I feel like I'm reliving that all over again because, my son's achievements have been like solely thanks to his dad. And it's almost like, no, 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 it's thanks to him,
Hmm.
like first and foremost. And it's thanks to his environment, whatever that may be. And, I'm sorry, but as much as people think very less of me, I had a hand in that too, bitch.
Hmm.
So,
I can't say it complete, but I do see you, Kayla.
oh, thank you. I know you
I'm
see me.
always admiring how easily you get jobs handed to you for years. And it's still happening. You're still getting interviews. You're still getting, serious consideration.
So, also this week, I got interviewed for the Ventura County Family Justice Foundation to be their executive director. And I told myself I'm going to be myself. I'm just going to like if they ask me questions, I'm going to not try to be somebody that I think they want. I'm just going to be 100% myself. So, I walked away from that interview just actually liking it.
Hmm.
I don't know if they liked what I said, particularly when it came to things like, um, they asked me if there's anything that I wanted to tell them or if there's anything they missed. I said, yeah, you didn't ask me how I like to lead. And
Hmm.
so I told them I value listening more than I value talking. I value
Hmm.
connection more than I value um, intellectual words. Let's say I said I love education and intellect and I seek those out. It's just not, to me, connection is more important. I don't know if that made a difference. I don't know if they said, what have I learned in the past couple of years? If they liked my answer, and my answer at that moment was let them. There's a book that I haven't read yet, but the actual title kind of speaks to me, and I'm curious about that book. It's another read that I want in my library, but it's called Let Them.
Yeah.
And when it comes to leadership, when it comes to like strategy, when it comes to cooperation, collaboration, sometimes people just aren't at your level. So, anyways, I said all the things that I would naturally say, and I'm hoping that it's good enough. If it's not good enough for them, it's actually good enough for me. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
yeah.
I think that'll weed out people in places that aren't good fits.
Yep. exactly.
Can I revisit another thought?
Yeah.
You've heard me talk about how I want to wrap things up here and go traveling and spend a week here, a week there, a month here, a month there, etc., right?
Uh-huh. How's that going?
And the thought about travel being valuable is so strong that that's what I offered my son. And you've heard me talk about my son going off when he graduated, with three other friends and visiting Europe for 5 or 6 weeks, right?
Right.
And I valued travel so much that I wanted him to have that, and I want my daughters to have that as well. I haven't figured out how to do that for my daughters yet. Um, but I've never had that for myself. So that's why I
Mm-hmm.
really want to go do that now.
Yeah, there you go.
I was very envious when you talk about, hey, your trips to Costa Rica, you're living in, the South Pacific. I've never had that.
Yeah. Aw.
And I do find so much satisfaction in the fact that my son, because I give credit to that particular experience of his, that he is now comfortable, almost at the drop of a hat. Not that he has any hats, to go and go wherever he wants and spend a week or
Yeah.
2 or 3 wherever he wants to go. And he's done that, at least a half a dozen times, if not more. He's gone to Mexico twice by himself. He's gone to Colombia twice by himself. He's gone to South Korea. Been to Taiwan twice. He's been to Europe on that one
Yeah.
trip that I took him to.
Wow.
Yeah. And there's also other trips, like a couple to Canada and probably other South American countries that probably he hasn't even told me about.
Wow.
And that's just, while he's holding down a full-time job and working, wherever he wants to work. And so anyway, I'm hoping to still create that for my daughters and for myself. My older daughter, I did take to China for a 3-week trip, and she and I went together with part of her wushu, Shaolin wushu school.
Wow.
Yeah, that was very special. And then I've taken my younger daughter, Ronnie, to Hawaii by myself and twice to Taiwan, and a couple of shorter trips in the US.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's why I want to. I just I don't, like I said, I don't want to go see the sights. I don't want to see bridges. I want to like sit with the people and eat what they eat, and smell what they smell, and smell the grass,
Yes.
smell the trees,
Yes.
look at the hills.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. Laugh at their jokes.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yep.
That to me is travel, not whether I'm at the top of the Eiffel Tower or whether I'm in this and that special canyon or this and that, Eye of Heaven or whatever they call that place.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah,
yeah.
that's all fun to do with friends, but the more important thing is to do with people and share the experience.
Absolutely. I agree.
Yeah.
In fact, I've been instead of going to Hawaii, which I'm happy now that we canceled the trip because of the flooding and the rain and also the TSA crap going on. I I kind of am seeking out like, experiences here in the United States with the
Hmm.
Native Americans.
Awesome.
Um, yeah, I'm looking into like going maybe to like Slot Canyon or the Grand Canyon, and then seeing if there's like an experience, like a cultural experience with Native Americans to learn a little bit more and be, you know, perhaps be on the reservation if it's not, you know, um, insulting to them for
Hmm.
tourism.
Hmm.
So,
About 10 years ago, I met a professional photographer who I think spent 2 years living with a Lakota. in the Dakotas.
Oh,
He
wow.
came back and was really, really moved by what he saw. And his pictures conveyed it
Nice.
as well. They've been so mistreated,
Yeah, yeah, I know.
so oppressed. And yet most Americans, I've heard, man, they barely wander out of their home state.
Yep, yep. That's the problem.
Oh, hey, can I tell you about another opportunity that just kind of came?
Yeah.
Speaking of that, so I write appeals for this organization called Hi USA, and uh, the woman that I have been writing these appeals for, she's kind of their development director, even though the title isn't really that the title of development director. Um, anyhow, I let her know that I was looking for another job. And I said, hey, if you know anybody who's looking, I know you're in the East Coast, but if they need somebody remote, then let me know. You already know
Mm-hmm.
how I write and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
do and blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, she goes, I know somebody who's looking. And she's like, hi, USA. And then she told me that she just accepted a position in another organization, and that she thinks I would be a really good fit for her position that she's leaving. And so Hi
Awesome.
USA is Hostling International. And what they want to do now is they want to focus more on cultural experiences and cultural dialogue, wherever that may be. And so the last appeal that I wrote for them was for called IOU Respect and Guest Experiences. And IOU Respect is they get um, six young adults from partner countries. And this year, IOU Respect will be in France, and they facilitate 7 3 or 4 hour dialogues with these 6 young people um, to discuss just life and world events.
That
And
would be fun.
right?
Remember Teen Congress? We talked about Teen Congress
Yeah.
like 2 or 3 years ago, right?
Yes.
Similar ideas.
So I'm really excited about that. And I'm just like putting it out there in the universe. I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, look, I know I need a job. I know I need something that pays a little bit more than what I'm
Mhm.
making right now. But if this is in my wheelhouse, please,
Yeah.
please push my energy towards this because these opportunities are coming up. And I just feel like you said, it's a matter of fit.
Hmm. Go do
Like,
that and I'll come work for you.
right?
I'd
I
love
mean,
to,
how
talk to those
cool is that?
groups. Yeah.
They also have what's called guest experiences where, obviously with hosteling and stuff and traveling, um, the attraction, of course, is to experience something new. And, these dialogues aren't always for everybody. I think that's why they have like a separate program for that. But generally, the guest experiences program is what they are known for. So for instance, if they have a hostel in Los Angeles and a welcome party is like an Oscar related welcome party, especially if the hostel is close to Hollywood, then they're going to do something a little bit more themed. Or, if you're in downtown LA, then you want the whole like experience. And they have what I think they call like the not Mardi Gras, but like Cinco de Mayo kind of experience over there too. And so they have all of these guest experiences that are kind of centered around culture. I think in San Francisco they have like a political walking tour, where they talk about like social justice and politics as it relates to the city of San Francisco. So it's more than just a hostel. And so anyway, I spent some time yesterday talking to the current executive director who's leaving and hearing about, what she did for the organization and how the organization is going through this growth. So it made me really happy to hear.
Yeah. So curious, how come she left?
Um, I think it's because the job title and the job is better, I think. She would be vice president of something.
Mhm.
Um, and anyway, I think it also has to do with um her and her husband, like their life right now. I think
Mm.
she expressed to me that they sold their house in Washington, D.C., and this will be an opportunity for them to actually finally buy another house and live somewhere that's kind of closer to where their jobs would be.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
I was just curious to see whether she had a beef with the organization at all.
Well, it appears that she doesn't, but I mean, I don't know if that's something that she would want to disclose to somebody who could potentially take her place.
Yeah, I understand. I understand those dynamics.
Yeah, yeah. So she's amazing at her job. She's actually one of the better fundraisers I've ever spoken to. Like, I actually learned a lot from her these past couple of months.
That's great.
Yeah.
Mm.
I have a question for you. You're in the stock market, right?
After a fashion, yes,
Are you still trading? Day trading?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Now, is it your opinion? How would you describe the stock market? What is it?
You mean in theory or how it affects
In
most people?
in in your words, like what do you think it is?
Ah, I have to sort of retract myself a bit. Okay, so number one, I'm not an expert. Okay. Number two, my understanding is it's a way for companies to get financing by valuing, micro shares of their companies so that they can attract the capital required to do whatever they need to do. And as companies operate, those shares become more or less valuable depending on how they're assessed or evaluated, I think is the term. So people speculate on that, and that's why they buy and sell shares. And there are derivative products of those shares, like options, like futures, etc. So that would be my first level approximation for how I talk about the stock market. And the market is where this all happens.
Okay.
Boring, huh?
So what it sounds like to me is it sounds like gambling.
There is. There's a lot of speculation about what's going to happen in the future based on past performance, but you can never be sure. So, yes, there's an element of gambling there. But the thing that you hope to do is to say, well, past performance doesn't guarantee future performance, but it's a good indicator of it. So as long as people are consistent, the teams are consistent, the strategy is consistent, the market is consistent, you should more or less expect similar behavior. And that's what people are betting on. But it's a bet, it's not a guarantee.
Mm.
Certain
What
of
would
those
happen if we did
things,
away with stock market?
yeah, I think we should. I think it exists in a capitalist society, and it exists because if I win, you lose, right? That fundamentally to
Yeah.
me is abhorrent. I'd like it for us all to win. And if we all lose, we share the pain. That to me would be a better system.
Yeah, I agree. What would it do you think removing the stock market would be? Um,
Now, the
extremely
stock
difficult.
market, it would be, but it's not the first thing I would do. The first thing I would do is, just make billionaires and trillionaires obscene. That is a plague on society that we even allow that sort of thing because it removes assets and capital that could be used to improve society. And it just locks it up in some cave for a billionaire and his progeny, his or her progeny, to benefit from while everybody else suffers. So that's
Uh-oh.
one. Second, yeah.
Sorry, you can hear me,
Uh-oh.
right?
I heard you say
Oh no,
uh-oh.
no, my my AirPods were just like, you know,
Running low.
not doing. Yeah. But I'm fine now. As long as you could hear me, you're good.
I can hear you.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
also eliminate this thing called Citizens United that gives corporations the right to spend money and buy elections. That is just totally antisocial. And it
Yeah.
basically locks in the fact that rich people can buy whatever government they want.
Right, right.
And then I would build in relationships versus transactions.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, I've shifted. There's about five or six things that I would like to do to create a better future. And I don't think it's likely to happen in my lifetime, but I'd like to at least build a mental model of how it could work because that's where it needs to start. If you don't know where you're going to go, then it's just random, whatever you work on. It won't be random, however, if somebody works on overturning Citizens United. It won't be random if people would say value and build up education as a core foundation for society. There are certain things that are just already known that they just have to happen. Okay? They will be difficult to manifest in today's society from within. But
Right.
the overall picture is still something that is not very clear. But at least those two elements are clear to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Third, that we build relationships versus transactions. I think that's also clear. But it's not clear how to make that happen because people
Yeah.
value currency and cash, and that pretty much is how you define transactions. Once currency changes hands, the transaction is considered over. And I'd like to see a bigger container called the relationship. And that's
Yeah.
difficult to introduce.
Yeah.
I'd also like society to, evaluate other metrics for how happy or healthy people are or society is, rather than
Yes,
saying, "Oh, this
absolutely.
company is getting a lot of money, therefore they must be successful." Meanwhile, sewage is, flowing into rivers and carbons being spewed into the earth, into the air, and people are being overworked, to the bones, But all we look at is the bottom line with a bunch of figures on it. We don't look at the damage that companies are doing. That is such a sick way of looking at things. Sick and incomplete. But we do it because it's simple.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
People love simplicity.
But what's wrong with simplicity, though, in
It's
that
not complete.
context?
It's not
Uh,
complete. If you only value something in a simple metric, then you, by definition, ignore all the other aspects of what that entity and that entity's behavior is doing, all the side effects.
mm,
Are families happy? Are people being overworked? Is the earth getting sicker? Are people getting sicker? Is a strong society, full of happy people, or are they just not interacting because they're barely sleeping and they're working two jobs, you know? And none of that comes out when you're just looking at the bottom line, in my opinion. Oh yeah, people like to fill up annual reports of, yeah, we've benefited society, we donated this to charity. Meanwhile, it's like what, 1%, 2%, 3%, nothing.
Yep.
It's all just to make the annual report look glossier, but the bottom line, analysts and stock buyers and holders care about is just the stock share value. The way
How would you frame
the
it?
how what?
How would you frame it to where people place more value on what's beyond the bottom line or inspire people to?
Yeah, we have to have a more holistic, a more systemic look at what social health and individual health means. Because right now, all health means is the bottom line performance. Are you
Yeah.
growing at 15% per year? Are you growing at 30% per year? Is an individual, making $100,000 or $200,000 or $30,000, And once people know that about you, they make certain judgments. They don't care, whether or not you're helping teach music at a school or whether you've just, taken somebody in for 2 weeks because they're in transition or whether or not you've taken in a girl who says that they were being abused at home or whether or not, you're allowing your kids to attend a certain kind of after school program because it's enriching and fulfilling. None of that comes
Hmm.
across when you say, oh, yeah, you make $100,000, good for you.
Yeah.
So making sense and understanding how things work, and then looking at what are the core genetic atomic elements of change that need to happen is better than imposing from top down a brand new system. I think we need to instill new values. And it's not all that difficult because education, other societies value education way more than we do in the US. So it's possible. Look at Finland, look at Japan, look at China, look at Taiwan, look at Vietnam, look at Norway. These people want their citizenry to be educated. They know they have a better society when people aren't fucking stupid.
Right.
And now they can point at the US and say, this is what happens when your citizenry is fucking stupid. Sorry, was that too strong? Sorry.
I don't care. There's another thing in um my interview. I said I like being direct. That's direct.
Mm.
How would you propose to educate people before the cycle continues or to stop the cycle?
I would like each community to start paying their teachers better because they value those teachers and give them more authority to fail kids who don't understand basic common sense and basic reasoning and basic reading and comprehension. Don't let those
Mm.
people keep graduating and be allowed to vote. That's a huge step forward. And it starts from individual communities. You can do that. Certain communities value their teachers way more than others.
Yeah.
And then we need to build safeguards around them so that, hey, if a teacher flunks somebody, the society will protect that teacher and not get that teacher fired just because one angry parent said, oh, no, my kid needs to go to the next grade, which is what happens now. You, as a teacher, probably have faced that. Oh, my kid should probably be, dancing front and center. I've had to face that. Yeah, my kid ought to be sitting first chair in orchestra.
Right.
And without certain safeguards, those really loud, angry parents can sway teachers. I think we need to start devaluating things like sports. I think paying athletes $100 million, that's sad. It's a reflection of how society values, an athlete more than they value a good teacher.
Yeah.
I mean, give them 10 million or whatever, okay? But make it much more reasonable compared to what other people make. Or even, 2
Yeah.
million. You'll still give them a very good life. But, somebody who really knows how to inspire kids and, get them excited about chemistry or dance or music or science, that person's going to spawn dozens more people who can do the same thing. And that's what creates better doctors, better scientists, better politicians, even, and eventually a better citizenry and therefore a better society. But is an athlete really going to, create that? I don't know. Certain athletes have very good ethics. I would say maybe somebody like a Steph Curry. I haven't heard about any, scandals surrounding him. Maybe he's a good example. Maybe he inspires other
Right.
kids to be, highly ethical. But so many of these athletes are just bums, right? Some of them are murderers, some of them beat their wives, some of them are cheats, some of them, have, dogfighting competitions. Just being an athlete doesn't mean you're a good person.
Right. Right.
Now, LeBron, I like what I've heard about LeBron. He's like, according to what I've heard, he's built like, homes for the homeless, maybe paid for, education programs for a bunch of kids. I've heard other, athletes do similarly. But it's mentioned in such awe that obviously it's the exception.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't they just do that? If they're making, more than $2 million, why shouldn't they be helping society where they can? And yet, when somebody does, it's like, oh wow, this is so special. Well, it's fucking special because they don't all do that. Or if they're all doing it, then they're doing a good job keeping it quiet because I'm not hearing about all of them doing this. But I think changing people's values is going to take one, two, three generations. And I don't know that we have that much time. One of the best steps to take is, and I still think the Dalai Lama should be respected for this, just start teaching kids in every school at third grade to start meditating. That'll be a huge first step.
Yeah.
I regret one thing I didn't do with my kids. My brother did this with his kids. That from very early age, they volunteered at a soup kitchen. And so the kids helped serve, and my brother has been a cook at a soup kitchen or one of these neighborhood kitchens for quite a long time, probably like 2 decades. I wish I had done that with myself and my kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know that movie, Filthy Rich Asians, or whatever it's called, Crazy Rich Asians?
Yeah. Yeah.
To me, I don't even like that idea. I have not seen that movie.
Yeah, I know. It's just entertainment, pure entertainment.
Yeah, it still reflects I know
Sorry,
what they're
go
trying
ahead.
to do with that movie, but I think it's misplaced.
Oh, totally. It's embarrassing, but it's just
Right.
entertainment. Everybody likes to look at like, oh yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
It's just like a longing for a life that
Hmm.
doesn't really mean much. Plus, the whole family dynamics is your typical family dynamics.
Yeah. And speaking of which, man, I'd like to know more about Jane Goodall. The more I find out about her, the more respect I have for her, and I really should know more about her.
Yeah.
I also am fascinated by what I'm finding being reported out of the James Webb project and what it's finding in the universe. So many things that are contradicting what we were taught growing up. Remember, we were taught Big Bang Theory.
Yes.
There's a lot of information coming out now that that's completely wrong.
Yeah.
And then there's reports that there's now a fifth force of the universe. We used to think there were only three, then the four, then now the potentially a fifth. Maybe there's way, way, way more.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Yeah. We're
That
just
doesn't,
getting better and better eyes as we develop and ears
yep, absolutely.
and brains.
You saw this on the Jane Goodall website?
No, I'm just seeing this in my feed on YouTube and
Oh,
various other sources.
oh.
And on the other hand, I'm also seeing how much evil still exists in this world.
I'm pretty sure your algorithms brought you that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, because I click on it.
I know. No.
And I think it's wrong to not click on it if I'm really understanding how bad things really are, represented by the felon in chief and his best buddy Jeffrey. It's a sick society where somebody like that can actually become president.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think there's any other country that would be, well, no, there are a handful, but most civilized countries would not let him even just run a pet shop, let alone a country.
I would never let him run a pet shop.
Last
Not
person.
even close.
And yet he was running, quote unquote, a modeling agency for years.
Yeah.
And the more I find out about Erica Kirk, the more disgusted I am about her and the other women that enabled Jeffrey and Donald. When I think about it, Pam
We
Bondi and Kash Patel have been through all of those records, all of those documents, all of those videos, all of the FBI reports, and they're still protecting the felon.
Well, FYI, I have a hard stop at 10 and we're a minute till.
Probably a good thing. Sorry.
No, no, no. I just wanted to let you know. But yeah, I'm gonna try to come on tomorrow,
Okay,
most likely. And then I'm gonna try to get that gentleman to come on tomorrow too.
cool. Look forward to meeting him. And tell Max it was good to see him for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, yeah, he's a lot more like, he's getting old. You should for sure see him now. He's taller than me. Remember that
Okay,
little kid that was dancing in your living room?
I do.
He's definitely taller than me now.
I do.
He's five. I think he's close to 5'8", if not already 5'8".
And he's what, 14, 15?
Yep, he's 14.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, you have a
Okay, Kayla.
wonderful
Well, thanks for
morning.
letting me vent a little bit, and
No,
see
no,
you
I'm
tomorrow.
glad. Sounds good.
Okay, bye.
Bye.